I watched 3 traders travel the same route for 20 years. Everyone could see they earned identical profits. Nobody could see why one retired wealthy, one stayed comfortable, and one died broke. The difference was not visible in their caravans. It was visible in what they consumed. This is called the consumption default principle. Every peso you earn presents a choice. Feed today or plant tomorrow. Most people default to feeding. They consume first, invest what remains. Strategic people reverse the default. They plant first, consume what remains. The difference is not discipline. The difference is which action requires a decision. For most people, consumption is automatic. Investment requires willpower. For wealthy people, investment is automatic. Consumption requires justification. Same income, different defaults. One structure creates scarcity. The other creates abundance. I traveled with the caravans for 2 decades. Watched the same pattern repeat across hundreds of traders. Let me show you what I saw. Meet Hassan, Jamal, and Farid, all spice traders. All traveled the silk routes between Damascus and Baghdad. All earned roughly 80,000 dinars annually from their trade. All worked the same hours. All faced the same risks. Year 1 looked identical. Jamal and Farid each completed 12 trading runs. Each netted 80,000 dinars profit after expenses. Each had families to feed. Each had the same economic reality. But their defaults were different. I watched carefully. Hassan's default was consumption. Every trading run, he returned home and distributed his profits. New robes for the family, a larger tent, better food, celebrations. His children lived well. His wife wore fine jewelry. When all consumption needs were satisfied, if anything remained, he considered saving it. Usually nothing remained. Jamal's default was balanced. He took his 80,000 dinars and split it consciously. Half for family consumption, half for reinvestment in the next caravan. Bigger loads, better camels, more goods. He lived comfortably, but not extravagantly. He thought this was wisdom. It was not. Farid's default was planting. The moment he earned 80,000 dinars, 60,000 automatically went to expanding his operation. Buying camels, securing warehouse space, purchasing larger spice inventories. The remaining 20,000 covered his family's needs. They lived simply. Neighbors whispered he was stingy. He was not. He had reversed his default. Year 3 revealed the first divergence. Hassan still ran 12 trading routes annually, still earned 80,000 dinars, still consumed everything. His tent was the finest in the village. His children wore silk, but his business capacity stayed frozen. 12 runs, same profit. Year after year, Jamal ran 14 routes now. His balanced approach let him expand slightly. He earned 95,000 dinars annually. Progress. He felt smart. He was consuming less than Hassan and investing more. But his investment amount stayed proportional to income. As income grew, consumption grew equally. Farid ran 20 routes. His reinvestment created exponential capacity. He now earned 140,000 dinars annually. But here is what nobody saw. He still lived on roughly 25,000 dinars. His consumption barely increased. The remaining 115,000 dinars went back into expansion. More camels, more goods, more capacity. People thought Farid was suffering. He was not. He had simply made planting his default. Consumption required him to make an active choice. Most days he chose not to. Year 7 crystallized the pattern. Hassan ran 12 routes, earned 85,000 dinars. Inflation meant he needed to spend more just to maintain the same lifestyle. His consumption absorbed everything. Zero capacity growth. Hit a ceiling and could not understand why. Jamal ran 18 routes, earned 135,000 dinars. Good money, but his consumption grew with it. Better home, private tutors for children, quality clothes. He saved 67,000 dinars annually. Feels responsible, but his savings sat idle. He was not planting. He was storing seeds and calling it farming. Farid ran 35 routes, earned 320,000 dinars annually. He employed 5 other traders now. His camels carried twice the goods. His warehouses in 3 cities generated rental income. His business operated partially without him. He still lived on 35,000 diners. The consumption barely shifted. The other 285,000 diners became more capacity. Here's what I learned watching them. The problem was not that Hassan consumed everything. The problem was that consumption was his default state. Money came in and automatically flowed to consumption unless he actively intervened. Jamal was not much better. He thought balancing consumption and saving showed discipline. But saving is not planting. Saved money sits dormant. Planted money grows capacity. He congratulated himself for not being Hassan while missing that he was still consumption defaulted. His consumption just happened to be 50% instead of 100%. Farid structured differently. For him, planting was automatic. He did not wake up each month and decide to invest. Investment happened by default. If he wanted to consume more, he had to make an active decision and justify it. Year 15, Hassan still ran 12 routes, earned 90,000 diners, still consumed everything. He was 55 years old and could not stop working. If he stopped, income stopped. His consumption structure demanded continuous labor. Jamal ran 20 routes, earned 165,000 diners. Had 420,000 diners saved across 15 years. Decent emergency fund. But that money was not working. It sat in his tent in locked chests. He thought he was wealthy because he had accumulated. He was not. It was just a slower version of Hassan. Farid ran 60 routes using 10 employed traders and owned 3 warehouses generating 85,000 diners annually in rent. His total income was 650,000 diners annually. Still lived on 45,000 diners. His business ran without him. He was 48 and could stop working entirely. His planted seeds now produced fruit that required no additional labor. Year 20, Hassan died working a trade route. Never retired. Consumed every dinar he earned across 40 years. Left his family nothing. Good man. Hard worker. Wrong default. Jamal retired at 60, with 680,000 diners saved, of 15 more years spending 45,000 diners annually. Money ran out at 75. His children supported him until death. He thought he did everything right. He saved. He was disciplined. But saving is not planting. Farid retired at 50. His businesses and properties generated 420,000 diners annually without his labor. He lived on 60,000 diners. The remaining 360,000 diners continued compounding. He left his children an empire worth 8 million diners. Same starting point as Hassan and Jamal. Different default. Here's the mechanism most people miss. Your default determines your outcome. If consumption is your default, you will find reasons to consume. New shoes are necessary. Better food is deserved. Comfort is earned. The mind generates endless justification for the default action. If planting is your default, you will find reasons to plant. This business needs expansion. That opportunity needs capital. Future capacity needs building. The mind generates endless justification for the default action. The choice is not made daily. The choice is made once when you set your default. After that, the default runs automatically. Check your own default right now. When money enters your account, what happens automatically? Does it flow to consumption unless you consciously intervene to save it? Or does it flow to investment unless you consciously intervene to spend it? If you must make a decision to invest, consumption is your default. You must make a decision to consume, investment is your default. Most people have consumption defaults and wonder why wealth never accumulates. They think they lack discipline. They do not. They have perfect discipline executing their default. The default is just pointed in the wrong direction. People think setting an investment default means deprivation. Wrong. Farid was not deprived. He consumed what he needed. He just made consumption the exception requiring justification rather than the rule happening automatically. The trap is thinking you will invest after consuming what you need. Needs expand to fill available resources. There is always one more necessary expense, one more justified purchase, one more deserved comfort. Consumption defaults always consume everything available. First, calculate your true minimum, not your current spending. Your actual minimum survival amount. Housing, food, utilities, basic transport. Be honest. Most people can survive on 40% to 60% of current spending. Second, set that minimum as your automatic consumption. The day your income arrives, that amount goes to a spending account. Automatically, everything else goes to a planting account. Automatically, you reverse the default. Third, make consumption from the planting account require active justification. You can spend from it, but you must write down why. This expense increases future capacity. How? The answer is it does not. The expense stays in the planting account. Fourth, never touch the planting account for emergencies without replacing it. Emergencies happen. True. But if planting money becomes emergency money, you are back to consumption default with extra steps. Month 1 feels impossible. You will find 12 reasons why you need more consumption access. Ignore them. Your consumption default is trying to reassert control. Month 3 feels uncomfortable but manageable. Your life did not collapse living on less. Month 6 feels normal. The new default is setting in. Year 1, your planting account has 100,000 to 300,000 pesos depending on income. That money is working, not sitting. Year 3, your planted money generates its own returns. Maybe 30,000 to 80,000 pesos annually? You still live on your minimum. The returns get planted too. Year 7, your capacity has multiplied. You earn more from planted seeds than from labor. Most people never reach this point because they never reversed their default. Year 15, you can stop working if you choose. Your defaults made this inevitable. This is not about willpower. Willpower fails. This is about structure. Set the default once. Let it run automatically. Stop making the same decision daily. 3 traders. Same route, same income. One consumed by default and died broke. One balanced and died comfortable. One planted by default and built an empire. The income was identical. The defaults were different. What is your default right now? Consumption or planting? That default is running automatically whether you notice it or not. Change the default. Change the outcome. More frameworks ahead.